Hello and welcome everybody. Tell us where you're tuning in from. And today we have a very special guest. He shines with positivity. Of course, if we know him, if we talk about the Smile Project, and he's really a great influencer here. We really love him all. A lot of people are so happy, including me, of course, to have him today with us in Think Big and Be Inspired. Michael Ray.
And you got the memo, man. We got
Yeah.
beautiful hair together, baby.
Yes. Michael, how are you doing? So good to
Hey,
have you
good
today.
good evening to you. Good afternoon here in the East Coast of the U.S. I am great, my friend. How are you?
Everything's good, and so happy really to have you today. And we all love what you do here on LinkedIn and on social media.
A lot of times I don't know how to process that, but thank you. I appreciate those very simple but yet insanely kind words. So thank you.
My pleasure, of course. Michael, our show is all about being inspired and all about changes in life. So I would like to ask you, when you went through hardship as a single father, what was the low point, the storm that made you be at rock bottom, then you rose and what happened? Yani, tell me what caused the change in your life?
Yeah. Wow. The low points. There were multiple ones. But I think for me, the defining moment um, was about 7 years ago when, I guess I don't know how much lower you can get when you're contemplating taking your life because you think your life has no value. So if you find yourself, I mean, that's about the bottom as the bottom gets. And
Yes.
for me, and having those conversations with myself, and as I laugh now, the good Lord, I knew that this is not how I wanted it to end. But even though that was 7 years ago, my journey to do this started roughly 3 years ago. But it had a genesis, and that genesis really that kind of brought me out of it was the relationship that I have with one of my special kids, and
Yes.
that's one who can't speak, but I say speaks to me in a much different language, and that's through the nonverbal cue of smiling.
Yes.
So as we want to make that shift in our life, what we don't realize at times, it takes time. It takes time to do it and the work that we put into it. But I think for me, in making that shift, even though it took a few years, it positioned me when I had an intersection, or crossroads with a complete stranger, understanding the significance of it, and then kind of bringing those two things together and continuing to create the change in my life and the lives of others.
Yeah, I think it's great, Michael, of course, and we have a lot of people coming in. Scott Ward sending he's from Alabama. He's sending his regards. Thank you, Scott. Nicole Ramirez from Delaware. Thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Wow.
Ahsan from Iran. Thank you, Ahsan, coming from
Nice.
Iran. Thank you so much for coming in. Sunil Krishan, I think he's from India. Welcome back and nice to meet you again. Thank you,
Welcome back,
Sunil, for
right? Yeah. Good to have
yeah.
you back.
Thank you so much, Sunil. So we know you touched base on your one of your daughters, of course, Maddie, because I'm following you and I'm a big fan of yours from for a long time. In 3 words, how do you describe your relationship with Maddie?
It's the three words I think a lot of us want in life, and that is love,
Yeah.
joy, and happiness. It
Yes.
really, a lot of times in life we find ourselves chasing those things, and we chase them through um, materialistic things more often than not because we think that joy and happiness is defined by possessions. But for me, in being able to see the unconditional love from one specific human being, and that she finds such insane joy and happiness just in the relationships. So understanding that joy and happiness really is manifested in the foundation comes from people.
Yes.
It's the people in our lives. It's our friend and family that bring us so much love and joy and happiness. It really is that simple if you want to, look at it that way.
I agree with you. I agree with people, and also I have a dog. He gave me unconditional love. I think dogs also we should put put them
No,
in
and
this.
you know what? I have used that analogy. It's crazy, but I do compare Maddie to a dog. It's
Yeah.
crazy, but the dog doesn't know anything really but how to love its master. So if you find
Yes.
nothing but love in that way, and she doesn't have that ability to look at people differently and see hate and judge people, so she
Yes.
loves them just at their core and sees them for why they're beautiful. And it's perfect. I honestly, you took the words out of my mouth. I say it so many times in which it's a dog. It's like having a human being as a dog. She gets it.
It is unconditional love and
Yeah.
joy and happiness, like Sunil is saying. And our friend Beth here, she's from Maryland and loves Maddie Mo and Michael Ray. Hello, Beth. How are you
She
doing?
she
Thank
she is a beautiful human being. So we love her to death. Yeah. Good seeing you,
Yes,
Beth.
yes, it's true.
Yeah.
True. That's really true. And tell us about the photo of Maddie Mo at Wendy's that started all this. Tell us about the story.
So it's, as I said, I guess go back, if anyone's listening who's a parent, what we
Yeah.
take for granted as parents is that we hear those three simple words, I love you, from our kids. But when you don't hear it, I started seeing and feeling it differently in my relationship with Maddie. And my affirmation came from her nonverbal gestures, which again is the simplicity of a smile. So it happened to me, about roughly 3 years ago. And I was in the office. I was having an awful morning. And the awful morning, for me to be specific, was I was having to process that as a 48-year-old man, I
Yeah.
knew that I was probably getting ready to lose my job.
Oh.
So it was, what the hell am I going to do with the rest of my life? So I made a decision to leave, to go get lunch, as a lot of people do around the world, and go through a drive-through. I tell people we've been through countless drive-throughs, never thinking that a drive-through would be that intersection or crossroads that would change my life. But in that cold February morning, it was. And I encountered Chantrell. And as I went through the drive-through, it was just her energy, her enthusiasm, her spirit. She made me laugh and smile. So much so, after I got my two large chilies, I actually had to pull over. I pulled over and had to process what just took place. And in that moment for me, I had a conversation with God. And I was like, what in the hell are you trying to tell me here? And I openly wept. It went on for about 5 minutes as I collected my thoughts. The only thing I could think to do at that point was to get out of my car and go back to the window and thank her.
Yeah.
So I did, and it's a little creepy. If you've ever been to a drive-through, if you ever do walk up to the window, the first thing that they generally say is, "Sir, what's wrong?" And I'm like, "No, it's not what's wrong, but I want to thank you for what you just did." She's like, "What did I do? I didn't do anything." And I'm like, "No, you
Yeah.
did." And she's like, "Oh, it's nothing." And I said, "I don't know why, but I feel compelled in this moment to take a picture. I want
Yeah.
to take a picture to remember the importance and significance of what just took
This moment.
place at this
Yes.
moment." But yet, look, there was nothing born at that moment. I took a picture, but yet the seed was planted. It started to germinate. I started to reflect on the importance and significance of Maddie in my life, and how a smile started to bring me such love and hope. And a couple of days later, I found myself in the gym working out, and I encountered a 14-year-old boy who
Yeah.
asked for help. And the next thing you know, I felt so alive. I took a picture. A couple of days later, another picture somewhere else. And then a couple of weeks went by, and I had taken about 10 pictures, and I'm like, what in the hell am I doing?
Yeah.
But I found myself interacting and feeling so alive with strangers. And then I started sharing them to social media, and it started resonating with people on Facebook just here
Yeah.
locally. So these short interactions with people made me feel so good. And
Yes.
so that's really all it was for about the first year and a half. I was taking just random pictures with strangers all over the city. I never knew the who, the where, the what, the why. I always felt like I was at the right place at the right time in an encounter with somebody and just having these short conversations. And as it evolved for me, in these moments, I started asking people why they were amazing. And I was getting them to talk about themselves. And it made me again just feel so alive and feeling so good in getting the best out of strangers.
It's an amazing story, and a lot of people are joining us. Yeah, it's great that you
My man
and your
Nadal. Oh, love
yeah,
Nadal.
Nidal is sending his regard. Hello, the good people. Thank you, Nidal, for joining us. Helen also, she's amazing. Truly inspirational young man. Love Maddie and Ray. Helen is
I love
amazing.
that lady.
Yeah,
She's a
yeah.
blessing. Yeah.
She's amazing. Yes, totally agree with you. Raquel is joining us also. Hello to support my bestie, Michael Ray. Raquel Boras.
Hey, this is sign language for I love. I love you,
Yeah,
girl. Hey, right
and the
there.
hair, yeah, for both of us, I think today. Chris
But you know
Power
what? You can
Gomez.
do
Yeah,
hair like this when you don't care. Oh, my man,
exactly.
I love Chris.
Yeah,
He's out on the way. But you know, when you don't, it's okay because when you have enough self love, I'm
yeah.
not worried about what other people think. So it is what it is. This is the beautiful hair you get right now.
Sunil, thank you. That's the right thing at the right place to the right location. I agree with Sunil on that. Michael, the project it's always only sorry in Louisville or surrounding community, or you're also I'm hearing that it's going to Florida, California. Also, share with us about that, please.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of it is the beautiful people that we meet in our journey. And for
Yeah,
me, a lot of those people were on LinkedIn. As my journey started about a year and a half ago on LinkedIn, we built so many amazing relationships with so many beautiful people. And that's kind of as I kept wanting to take steps forward, I took a leap of faith. And I guess now about 6 weeks ago, I went to Florida, met up with about 25 amazing people in my journey all over the state of Florida. And we went out and
great.
blessed about 20 different people. So where California is coming into play is it's just no different than Florida. So I leave next week to go spend 9 days in California, and we're doing the same thing. We're going to go around California with so many beautiful people that have followed me on my journey that I've built relationships with that I've never met. A couple in here today, Raquel Boris,
Yeah,
Chris Power Gomez that have dropped in. We're going to meet for the first time, even though
great.
we've built these amazing relationships. We're going to now go in some of their communities and do what we do. And I always say it's just spreading smiles, love, and kindness to strangers.
That's a great mission, yeah. And Mike, Nidal is saying, Michael, was your spread out in Miami encouraging to the larger project? Yeah, Nidal. Sayed, also great to see you, to see both of you. Sayed, thank you so much for coming in. Chris Flower, look, honey, it's the he's such a good looking man.
Wow, man, come on now.
Shazama is sending your regards. Hi, Shazama.
Hi, Shazama.
Peter Walsh is, this should be packed with smiles. Yes, of course, your journey is always packed with smiles. My hero, there is not a stronger, more focused on good man in the world. Thank you, Chris. Of course, this is to you, Michael. Thank you so much, Chris. Maddie's happiness, I agree. Yes.
I tell you
Uh,
what, if our world could be fixed by Maddie, and it's funny because when the pandemic hit globally, I
yeah,
turned and looked at her and I said, "You have no clue. She doesn't understand fear, anxiety, stress.
Yes.
Again, when you almost live in infinite joy and happiness, I'm like, you don't give a rat's ass. You're just sitting there chilling, enjoying life because nothing has changed. You don't know of fear. So even though you're staying at home with family all day, your world
Yeah.
is perfect.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. It's some kind. It's hard, I know, for the parents, but I think it's some kind for her. It's imagine you're living like this. It's a blessing. Yeah, yeah. That no stress, nothing. Of course, it's hard for us as a
yeah.
family and for the her sisters and brothers, but it's a blessing that you live without any stress for sure. So there is always
In Amid, we look at
yeah.
people like her
Yes.
socially as not being perfect
Yes.
because of the outward signs. And then, maybe if you try to interact with her going, well, holy crap, she can't talk,
Yeah.
but yet I keep telling people she really was built and designed as what perfection is because life is just again that simple. So she wakes up, up every day, as I said, in just this infinite space of joy and happiness with unconditional love. So she doesn't understand hate.
Hate.
You know,
Exactly.
whether you're black, white, brown, whether your religion. I mean, those things don't come into play because she only
Exactly.
understands love.
Yeah, that's amazing. Those things actually that destroyed humanity and all this hate and envy and jealousy and all that.
And it exists no matter where we are in the world. There is
Yes,
some level and form of hate, you
true.
know.
That's true. Debbie, hi Debbie Murarchan. Thank you so much for joining us. Chris, Power face hurts from smiling.
Hey, wait till I take the life out of you when we have a man hug next week, brother.
Yeah. Raquel Boras, every time I FaceTime with Michael and Maddie, my heart is full with love. Yeah, Raquel, thank you. Peter Bol also is, joining us. Raquel Boras night chat with Michael Ray.
She's doing some great work where she's working with youth, um, especially through these times and having just open conversations with people, and kind of working through what young kids go through,
Yeah.
and sharing it on LinkedIn and YouTube and such. So we love her, mad love for her.
Of course, it's a great mission also.
Yeah.
Tell us, Michael, how did the COVID change your commitment to your Smile project, and did it affect your project? And is Maddie involved, or changes to keep her safe, or how did you take it?
So, I mean, we got a little more creative early on.
Yeah,
And when I say creative, we tied balloons on cars so we didn't get into the personal space of human beings. I literally went to the hardware store, home improvement store, and got a 10-foot pole. So in what we did, we could pass balloons safely to people from 10 feet away.
yeah,
I got clear plastic and I dropped it over me so I could safely hug, human beings. And, the ability maybe to do some things that, a lot of what I do is off the generosity of other human beings. And I say it's opening their hearts and paying it forward to others. So maybe some of that came to a standstill because we couldn't safely get groups of people together. But,
yes,
when it hit, it's as in anything in life, as we go through hardships and challenges, it was like, screw it. We have to find ways to just do what we
exactly.
do, but do
Have
it
to be
safely.
creative. Yes,
Do it safely. And that even though, life at times is not easy, we find ways to smile through adversity. And just because you have cancer or you lost your job and you're battling things, you still have to find ways to feel loved and smile, even in a pandemic.
exactly. You must find a way to live, to survive, and adapt, and be creative. And it's great that you found a way
Yeah.
to be creative to complete this amazing journey.
And here, I don't know if you ever heard of have you ever heard of bourbon?
Bourbon, yes, yes, of
So
course.
97% of the world's bourbon comes from where I live in the state of Kentucky. So we did
Okay,
find ways to drink a little bit more bourbon.
That's great. So it must be really good bourbon there. Yeah.
That's right.
Nadal is saying hate is more dangerous than this virus. I agree, Nadal. Yes.
And there were a lot of beautiful people through what we did that commented that way, going, keep doing what you're doing and spreading that message, because it needs to be more infectious and contagious than the virus itself. And we found ourselves at times too, again, going places where we thought we would never go, and that was senior home living facilities, because they were kind of locked into this prison. So we brought a lot of hope and love and to people that were really struggling because loved ones couldn't come in and hug them. Just the simple act of hugging family. So
true, of course, it was a really hard time for a lot of people, and a lot of people had the problems psychologically because they were like locked down and all that. Patrick's sending his regards.
Yeah, I mean, mentally and emotionally trying to process. We're all in different places and trying to process what the hell we're going through. And again, this was a global thing. So regardless of where you were on this great planet, it was all impacting us pretty much the same.
Exactly. Kim Araman loved the positive vibes. Thank you, Kim, for joining us.
Hola, Kim.
So I think you touched a little bit about your journey on LinkedIn. Tell us more about it, and how did it serve your message to expand your audience more and more? And I really love LinkedIn, maybe more than any social media. Maybe I'm biased, but tell me, how did LinkedIn help you? Did it help you more than Facebook?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So yes. As I said earlier, I started by taking pictures. I got about a year and a half into doing what I was doing, and literally got out of the bed one morning going to the bathroom, and I had an epiphany. I'm going, if I'm taking all these pictures, trying to make people smile, what would it look like if I did a random act of kindness? So we kind of talked through it, and we went and did that, and we videoed it, and we saw the reaction from people on Facebook. But again, Facebook was primarily local. There were people that were kind of following me on my journey here locally. So I had been doing it about 3 months and sharing it until someone I knew locally who had a much larger presence on LinkedIn started to nudge me.
Yeah.
And like, dude, you got to share this stuff to LinkedIn. But as a lot of people, I think we have this perception. And and I often say in life, your perception is your reality. And my reality of LinkedIn was, the hell no. LinkedIn's a place where I go maybe to network, to look for a job.
Exactly.
It's not a place to share what I'm doing.
Exactly.
But after people keep pushing me, and then I need to give some street credit to Chris Power Gomez, because on my journey on LinkedIn, he was probably, as I can count on my hand, or I say maybe 3, he was one of the first 2 or 3 people that started coming in and supporting me on my LinkedIn journey and what we were doing. But it was overwhelming. Overwhelming, I say in a good way, because the level of people and where it resonated, it was no different than Facebook. So instead of it resonating in my backyard in Louisville or the state of Kentucky, now all of a sudden it started resonating all over the US and globally. People, again, like yourself, this is the beauty and power of social media on LinkedIn, not on Facebook. The ability to connect with amazing people that are creating change, of impact and influence in the lives of others that you're doing over in the Middle East. Are you serious? So that's kind of where my LinkedIn journey, started to blow up. And really in the late fall, the early winter of 2019 and 2020, there were major people of influence that started seeing what I was doing on LinkedIn, and it resonated with them. Whether it was Lorena Acosta, Brett Brody, Rachel Mitchell, and others started sharing my message. And I got to a point shortly before COVID, I was like, holy shit, this thing is now like bigger than me. Oh my God, why wasn't I doing LinkedIn,
a long time ago?
But I do believe and everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens on time.
I believe in that. Whether
Yes,
you believe in God, the universe, or anything, it's
exactly.
where we're destined to be at any point in time. And for me, it worked out okay, because that's kind of how I think it all needed to fall into place. So again, the journey for me on LinkedIn is amazing, because Florida doesn't exist without the beauty of the relationships that I built from those people on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
And to
Exactly.
get that opportunity now to where we've kind of watched what they do and what I do, and then get to meet them face to face and share hugs with them, and then make strangers feel love, is a beautiful thing.
Exactly, it's amazing. I always say it's an amazing platform. I also, like you, I wasn't active on it. I thought it's like for CV or things like that. Then in 8, 9 months, I'm meeting amazing people and really interacting with people from different places in the world.
All over
And
the world.
yeah, I'm sure when this thing it slows down and we will be able to travel, we can meet really a lot of great people in different
Right?
countries. It's
Dude, I
amazing.
want to
Yeah.
come to Dubai, baby. I mean,
Yes, we'll be waiting for you and Maddie. Really, it's amazing. Really,
yeah.
it's amazing. Debbie is sharing with us her love for LinkedIn. Thank you, Debbie, for joining us. Sunil is asking a little bit question that he's thinking. What are the three big questions in life? What do you think about that, Michael?
Well,
What's your take on that?
I think I've described some of them. I think that what we found, and I often say, I have evolved as a man and father to get to the place where I am today. So I think, one of those things are, we want to be loved. We want to find love, and that's with another human being. So I think, first and foremost, that comes, early in life from your family and friends. And then you want to share that love with someone else, and maybe build a family. And then as you start to do that, we want to find happiness. For me, I think that I was so misguided earlier in my life and career, in that, to me, I was chasing happiness. I felt
Yeah.
like happiness was defined by the desire and wanting more. And I don't want to take that away from anybody. I mean, look, if you're able to successfully find that, go get it. But for me, I think that I started to understand through the hardships and challenges in life that less is more.
Yeah.
And that even though at one point in time in my life I was earning 8 to 10 times more, I was so much more miserable. And I think then, as the hardships and challenges continued to mount and couldn't find ways to overcome them without taking a pill,
Yeah.
we find ourselves again in dark places. And I had this one time to where, and the beauty of what I started to do when I started to go make people smile and feel loved, when I first started doing it, I had to figure out where to go. And then as I started sharing this on social media, people locally started reaching out, going and telling me the stories of other people. And I'll never forget the first time that I uttered these words. And when I do what I do, I get one chance. It's a matter of 90 seconds to 2 minutes with a stranger. I really never know what I'm going to say, and it's just one take. And I happened to be with this very young school teacher. She was 28 years old. She was teaching these 9 and 10-year-old kids, and she was battling stage 3 colon cancer. And the reason I got asked to go to this school that day was not really necessarily because she was battling cancer, but these teachers in this school found such joy in that she kept showing up. And even though she was battling for her life, she was this insanely positive teacher.
Yeah.
And I found myself in this moment, and I uttered the words, we smile and make others smile because life is hard. It's
Yes.
not easy at times. And for people like you who choose to be, and it's a choice. It's a choice at times, you know, and life, you know, at times comes down all about the choices we make. But in that moment with her, I felt the love and the ability for her to choose to smile and make all of these kids smile, even though she was battling for her life. So again, it took me back to a place when I had lost my son, and then my career and all of those things, when I thought my life had no value, going, there's no reason to live. It's such bullshit. There's so much to live for. And even though we don't understand at times why some people have it harder than others, and that's what it is, because we play this comparison game and we start comparing, going, why is my buddy, they're not going through anything. They're not battling cancer. They didn't lose their job. They didn't lose their son. They don't have a special needs daughter. Again, we look at all these things, but yet I then looked at all the gifts, and joy that I had in my life. So for me, I think he asked for 3. I think the 2 fundamental things in life, if you can find love and happiness, and really joy is just an extension of happiness, where it's this beautiful place that we live. If you can find those 2 things, you're so fulfilled.
Yes, exactly.
It doesn't matter what the size of your house is, what car you drive. You're not trying to impress, you know, the clothes on your back, you know. So you can find this amazing place in life.
I truly agree with you, and to reach fulfillment by happiness, not comparing yourself with anybody, because you don't know even what someone is going through. Like, if you did not know about this lady, you'd never know that she was battling cancer, but she's happy, she's positive. You never know what someone is going through, so never compare yourself to anyone. I totally agree with you, and be fulfilled, be happy, whatever you like. It doesn't have to be in money, it can be in relation, it can be in finding love and joy, like you're saying. A lot of people coming in. Adam is sending his regards. Shazama, yes, LinkedIn is the best social media. Yes, Shazama, I agree. Yeah, finding jobs, making new contacts. Totally agree with you. Debbie also wants to visit Dubai, so you're welcome. You and Michael.
Hey, Debbie, let's go together, baby. I can't wait to go.
Ahmed Khaled here, my friend, is saying inspirational story. Thank you, Ahmed, for joining us. Adam is saying, yeah, I gotta admit, most people that use LinkedIn to promote themselves, you promote a message that cultivates love. Much respect to Michael. Yes, a lot of respect to Michael, of course. Patrick sending big hugs and lots of love from Holland. We have Paul McFarlane. First, we learn to love another, then we learn to become love. Very nice words, Paul. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
So true, brother. Amen.
Brian Wall, love us some Michael Ray.
Yes. My man, B Wall. Brian's a good dude.
OG Cartoon, hello to everyone. I'm new on here. Hello, OG. Thank you for coming in.
The original gangster.
Shinawaz sending his regards. He's one of the big fans of the show. Thank you for coming in, Shinawaz. Thank you so much. Turan sending his regards. I think he's from Turkey.
Look at all the love for you, brother. Yeah, you're feeling it, man.
Love from all over the world, really. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Medhat Yahya. Hi, Ahmed. Hi, Medhat. How are you doing? So we got really a lot of people coming in, and Taibaji coming in. Yeah, hello, Taibaji. Thank you so much for joining us all. So, Michael, what's the theme for 2021? And is there any other new things other than that you're going and traveling here, there in 2021 for you?
So it's interesting, you know, as COVID was still going, and we had made a decision that we were going to start going on the road. I mean, ultimately, even though I make people smile and I do random acts of kindness, I tell people it's just coming from a place of love. So I said, hey, 2021 is the year of love. I mean, it should be every day, every month, and every year, but I
Exactly.
guess I just adopted that, and in every post that I have for this year, I start off with it's 2021, the year of love. It's the year to make people feel loved. And I want to give a quote because this is something that resonates with me more than anything that I've ever heard of all the quotes. And there's so many beautiful things that so many humans say. But the late great Maya Angelou, I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
I
So
know her, yeah.
so she said something one time, and it probably took some time to really start figuring this out with what I read from her, and that is people will forget what you said, they will forget what you did,
They'll
but
never
they won't
forget how you
forget
made
how
them
you made
feel.
them feel.
Yeah, I
And
love this one.
really, that's kind of what encapsulates what
Yes.
I do and what I try to leave with people is because, you know, one of the most common questions that get asked to me is, what did she say to you that day you went through the Wendy's drive through? And I'm like, I have no clue. I can't remember. But I remember still to this day, 3 years later, how she
How it
made
made
me
you
feel.
feel.
And we
Yes.
give people balloons, we give them gift cards and money and things. And I tell people the balloons will die, people will pitch them. They'll spend their gift card maybe in the moment, whatever they need it for, it makes them smile. But a year later, they won't forget how it made them feel that day when a stranger came and did something for them on their journey to make them feel loved. So I tell people, with what we do, it's and we video it, it's just 1% of what we do, because it's really how we and everyone should live day to day as we interact with strangers. And as you said earlier to me before we went live, you were at the beach today. We have these
Yes.
opportunities as our paths cross, so many strangers, whether it's a coffee house, the beach, at a drive through, at a grocery store, no matter where we are. And we never know what someone else is going through in life. And it's just those simple things a lot of times. Again, it doesn't take balloons, it doesn't take gift cards. It's just the simple things that we can do to touch the life of a stranger.
That's really inspiring. Yes, it's about touching lives. It's about emotions, about making people happy and satisfied. And like you said, I love the quote. Of course, I live also by this quote. People don't forget how you make them feel, and that's why be kind always. Don't be like
Yeah.
don't try to hurt anybody. Don't take care of your words, because really I always also say that words are like bullets. If you say really bad words, it just stays. It can stays in your
And
unconscious mind, and you can
just
recall
as
it
much as
anytime.
the beautiful words that we say to people,
Yes,
those words can be so destructive,
yes,
you know.
yes. Yes, like saying to anybody you're not doing the right job, you're a loser or something like that. This, if you continue, like even for parents or something like that, I always say to parents, you have to be kind to your kids and encourage them, because this kind of this encouraging, it really can hurt them for years and years. I totally agree. And Michael Hales here is saying great stuff as usual from the man himself. This man is a living legend. Thank you, Michael. I agree with you.
No, I tell people I'm just a dude. I'm no different than anyone. That's the thing. Self love is so important. We all have this in us. I
Yes.
mean, we just don't understand at times because of our minds how amazing each of us are. I mean,
True,
yeah,
we tend to forget with getting with life through life, and maybe busy and at work or something. We tend to forget how beautiful we are all are. I totally agree with you, Debbie. Thank you so much for tuning in, and for sure you're coming to Dubai soon. We'll be waiting for you.
we're gonna hug it out, Debbie.
Yes. Michael, thank you so much for of course for coming in today. We don't want this show to end really, and I really enjoyed my time with you. I'm excited for 2021 for you. I'm hoping that it brings you all the best for you and your family and for your beautiful Maddie. So keep in touch, and I wish you all the best in 2021.
Many,
Thank you
many
so much.
blessings to you, my friend. Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Much love.
joining me. And anytime, please, you're doing any live event or something, invite me. And I'll be waiting I'll be waiting to take an encouraging hug from you when you come to Dubai.
You know it, my friend. Hey, think big, people. Hell, yes. I did. I can't. I mean.
Thank you so much, Michael, and thank you for everyone who joined us. So, cheers, Michael. Take care. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, my friend.
Thank you. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.